I was born in Mexico City in 1987, and I'm actually the youngest of 3 kids. My father was significantly older than my mother at the time of my birth. He was 63 years old, and she was, I believe, 21. He had passed away, and unfortunately my mom didn't have the means to care for all 3 of us, and she did engage in prostitution to take care of her family. While she was working, she would often leave us unattended, and what happened is child services became involved a number of times. They would find us alone, they would bring us back to her, and it's just a vicious cycle that continued on for quite some time. And unfortunately, one time they weren't able to locate her. We suspect that she was killed. Unfortunately, we didn't have any other family that we could go to in Mexico, and that resulted in us living in an orphanage. Luckily, we didn't stay at the orphanage very long. The really amazing Canadian couple came down to adopt a child. They are now my new parents. What's really interesting is they met my brother at the orphanage, and they really liked him. They wanted to adopt him, but the orphanage was unwilling to split the 3 of us up. And they told my parents that they had to adopt all 3. In my teens, I actually struggled quite a bit. From the outside, it seemed like I had it all together. But on the inside, I wasn't complete, I wasn't whole. I was a rebel. I wanted to be that class clown. I wanted to be noticed, and it caused me to do things, get in trouble. I'd be sneaking out at night to go to parties. I was drinking. I even found myself at times stealing from my parents. In my last year of high school, I got into a car accident, and I was drinking and driving. Luckily, no one was hurt other than myself, but I had tremendous shame in what I had done. I felt as though every time I did something wrong, it was like someone put a marble in my backpack. And, one marble's not gonna weigh a lot, you won't feel it. But after 30 years of this, the weight just became so great, I couldn't bear it anymore. So one of my jobs, I used to sell security in Richmond for a company. And the owners of the company were Christians. I really admired something about them, but I didn't know what it was. A lot of the people that I really respect in life, they all had the same traits, but I just didn't know what it was. They were loving people, they had great family, they had the respect of people, and I just admired it looking at them. I wanted to be like them, but I just didn't know what that meant. At work in the summertime, what I found is the men of the company would go to a retreat every summer at Rockridge. And what it was a Christian's men's retreat. And for me, I didn't really know what that meant, but they always came back after this week extremely refreshed and energized. And I wondered, how can I get in on that? I was interested in this event for about 3 years before I made any action to go towards it. And I made plans to go with one of my friends who had been going for the last few years. And he was pumped that I was gonna go along with him. The retreat at Rockridge started off with a great golf tournament. I met a lot of great guys. The service really spoke to me. I remember when Pastor Ken had spoken to us, and it was towards the end of the weekend. He asked, "We would love it if this weekend resulted in new Christian followers, but we don't expect it. If God spoke to you this weekend, then why don't you come up here and declare your love for Jesus?" And I thought to myself, I absolutely need to do this. I need to go and declare that I will be a follower of Jesus in front of my friends. I had so much excitement to do it. Ken did a countdown. It was 10 and then down to 1. And when he started to count down, I didn't have that strength in my legs to walk forward. And I told myself, okay, I'll be the second person or the third person. And then the clock ran out. Eventually, I made my way to the stage. I started my new life. It was amazing. When I turned around to the crowd, I noticed that all of my friends that I had spent the weekend with were gone, and I didn't know where they had gone. I was actually quite upset. I thought they would have been really happy to see that decision that I had made. What I didn't know is they had already walked to the bottom left-hand side of the stage to walk off with me, because they were ready to walk with me. It was beautiful. How I'm living my life now is I still am collecting marbles on a daily basis. There's no getting around it. But I don't have the weight behind them anymore. When I know that I have sinned, I speak to God, and He gives me the opportunity to pick up this marble, and instead of having it in my backpack, I can now just throw it away. It's gone, and it's It's the biggest relief that I've ever had in my life, just to know that I'm not alone and I'm not broken. I truly feel as though God has created a love inside of me that will guide me in a different direction.